Hello, hello, folks. This is Grace coming to you from the comfy nest. Who's ready to do some crafting with Essential Stencils? I've got a couple of sets of signs. Oh, goodness. Stencils that I'm going to be using to make a sign. And it's a sweet little sentimental sign, which is perfect for Valentine's Day. But I think I'm going to use this set, the 6-pack set. And I have two other sets. Actually, yeah, two other sets that I'm going to use, and I'll show those to you in a minute. I'm going to be using the Essential Stencil brushes because they are my faves, and this is kind of a bigger sign. Not huge, but it's 12 by 24. Before I get going, though, I want to make sure that I'm live. You guys say hello when you come on so I know. I'm having like a major coughing fit. Oh, there we go. I'm live. Having a major coughing fit before I came online. So I was just a couple minutes late. I'm so sorry. Hey, Janine. Hello, hello. Hey, Tracy. Hello. Thank you for sharing. Hey, Penny. And Kathy is here. Hello, ladies. So glad you're here. So glad. Okay, I'm going to be giving away 3 sets of stencils. I need to make sure I have my notepad here because I got to write down the names of the winners. I'll do that toward the end. First, let me show you the project. Okay, so I told you, I may be working these in. This is a 6-pack of 6x6, and I may, the one part of this that I want to work into this project is the little hearts. They're so cute. And of course, you can use them in rows, or if you need to, you can just use one heart on a project, right? But this set is really sweet. It comes with 6 stencils, and they're all 6x6. So let me show them to you. It's super cute. Perfect for Valentine's Day. So you get the XO and you get the love. Oh, that one's backwards. With the arrows. I put these on last year I put these on little canvas totes from the dollar store, and they were super cute on those. There's February 14th. And you're going to get All You Need Is Love with the arrow with another heart. And then the last one is Be Mine. So this is this whole set, and I think I'm going to use the hearts out of this set. Okay, so that's the 6-pack. They're called the Valentine mini set. Right now they are $16.97 on the site. But if you use my code The Comfy Nest, you'll get 10% off. And Lisa says, I can't wait to see what's next. Hey, Lori in Illinois. Hello, hello. Hey, Christy, and Joanne is here from Tennessee. Thank you for telling me where you're all coming in from. Beth is here from Tennessee, and Crystal's here from Michigan, Roxana from Washington. This is so fun. Hey, Kim in Michigan, another Michigan girly girl. Oh, good gravy. Thank you, Pat. I can't kick this cough. I'm going tomorrow to a conference, and I'm sharing a room, and I'm so nervous that my cough is going to keep my roommate out. Roommates. So we'll see. I'll be like trying to hold back so badly. Hey, Roxanne. Barant is here. Hello, Roxanne. And Samantha's here. And Teresa. So glad you guys are here. Okay, here's the other set I'm going to use. This is the sweet set. Okay, there are 2 different stencils in this set. They are very sweet. One of them says, we decided on forever. Of course, a great sentiment, right? To have in like your master bedroom, right, in your home for mom and dad or for husband and wife. It's a great wedding gift sentiment as well. Like you can make a sign for somebody for a shower or for a wedding gift with We Decided on Forever. The other one in this set is the one that I'm going to use, and it's really cute. It says, we should probably cuddle. I love this one. I love the font on this one. You get both of these in this set for $15.97. It's a 2-pack, and these are 8 inches by 17 inches. Now, I'm going to be putting these on a 12 by 24, and excuse me, the board itself comes from Craft Deals. I got it from Craft Deals, and Craft Deals has a tab where they have farmhouse sign kits that you can get, and the kits have the frames that you put on after you create the sign. So you get the wood blank and then a sign. This particular one, I don't think they have this one on the website anymore, but I have purchased their farmhouse signs, and they're awesome, and they do have this size, which is a 12 by 24. So I already painted the board. This is the back of the board. I already painted it white. I just wanted a basic white in the back, and then I'm going to paint all over this. And then the frame, and their frames are different on the site, but this is the frame that I got for this one. I'm just going to tack this on the front of this, like when I'm done. But I had originally painted this frame blue because I was going to do something else with it. So there's the raw wood. I painted it blue. So what I decided to do is just paint the top like this beautiful pink. It's called Honeysuckle Pink by Apple Barrel. So when this is hanging, you'll see the blue and the pink, and I'm hoping it's gonna like just break up all of the pink because I'm gonna use the rest of what I'm gonna use, I think it's pink. So the base is white, and then I'm gonna stencil on top of that. So I'm gonna put this frame aside for a few minutes. This is the other one that I'm gonna use. This was a pre-order exclusive. Okay, this, you cannot get this stencil, you guys, so I'm sorry about that. But it's a pre-order exclusive that those who joined early, the Stencil of the Month Club, got this. And it's just like a grain sack stripe, basically. And I want to put this on the background of this board. So let me get myself ready while I'm saying hello to everybody. Excuse me. Hello, Geraldine. And Donna's here. Hey, Kim from Missouri. And Rhonda's here from Alabama. Yeah, thank you. Sherry says she likes the laundry sign behind me. Thank you. I did that one the other day. Hey, Billy in Mississippi, and Teresa from Kansas, Julie from Nevada. It's so fun to have you all here. And Joyce Ann from Kentucky. Hey, Sharon, so glad you're here. Another one of our friends and family of the Essential Stencil group. And here's Pat is here, and Stacy. Deb's watching from Missouri. So glad you guys are all here. We got a friend from, what did I see? Did I have a friend from Indiana? Tammy. And Nikki says, hey, y'all, from Texas. All right, let's get started. Oh, goodness. Linda says she just got started with a cough. I hope it doesn't last very long. I hope. Okay, you guys, I'm really behind on comments. Oh my gosh, Geraldine says, that is so crazy. I just ordered both of these right before you came on. Well, let's get going. We're gonna have some fun with these. Hey, Stephanie and Dorothy. All right, let me get the camera facing down. Here's my board. Here's what I did before we came online. I did figure out, a little planning here. So here's my board. Actually, let me lift you guys up a little. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can, I'm a short girl, so I struggle with how far away my camera is to grab onto it, but I'm gonna just try to change that so that you guys can see more of this board. I want you to have a really good angle here. There we go. All right, now you can see more of it. It is 12 inches by 24, so it's really long. So I'm just gonna show you, I can only work on one part at a time, so that's the part I'm gonna show you. My goal is to take the grain sack stripes, that's what I call them. I'm gonna put them on the background in a very soft pink. I have 3 pinks to work with here. These are the 3 pinks. And this is the pink that I put on the frame. I'll probably work that in somewhere. Excuse me. This really soft pink is, I got it on sale, obviously, somewhere. Walmart, it looks like. It's called Baby Pink. And then I have this other pink. It's a Martha Stewart, and it's a pearlescent pink. So I'm going to try to work all 3 of these in on the background, on the board. And then of course we have the honeysuckle on the frame. So what I did before I came on is I was just trying to figure out the best positioning for this, because the stencil has like a 1 inch or a 1/2 inch border around it. It's what holds it together, right? So luckily, that's about the same size, 1 inch, as my frame. So if I line this corner up with my board, like exactly, then what is gonna show, it's gonna be perfect for showing this on the background, which is my goal, which is what I wanted. And actually, from my markings on here, what I was trying to figure out is, am I going to be able to duplicate this and get straight lines? That was my worry, because my stencil is not as long as my board. So I'm gonna have to repeat. And so that's what I was trying to figure out for myself. I'm gonna grab some painter's tape. I don't always tape down, but because I'm a little concerned, I have to repeat and I need these things to match up. I am going to try to get this as perfect as possible, square, and then tape it off so that I don't muck anything up. Now, you guys know, those of you who watch me, you know I use tin foil for my paint palette. It's just easy and cheap, and because I can fold it, I can use it multiple times before I throw it out. It's just what I use. So I'm gonna get that ready and my paint brushes. Now, this grain sack stencil, super easy because it's all one direction. If you watch me at all, like if you're coming back and returning as somebody who watches, hey Bill, Bill's a returning guest. If you're coming back and returning as a guest, I talk about brush strokes that are in line with your stencil. So this stencil is all straight lines. So I'm going to do a lot of back and forth like this. Okay. I don't want to go in circles. Look at it even move when I go in circles. It moves these really thin lines in a bad way. You'll have a lot of mess if you go in circles. So I'm going to go in straight lines back and forth like that. Okay. I want the lightest pink that I have on the background. So I'm going to use this baby pink. Susan says she uses tinfoil or a paper plate. Hey Grace, I finally caught you live. I've missed you. Oh, Dana, I'm so glad you caught me live. Oh, who said they only use tinfoil now? Joanne, I only use tinfoil now because of you. It's cheap, easy. I always have it on hand, right? And I feel like it's less waste than the plates. And I don't have to clean anything up. That's the other thing. Okay, so I'm going to get a bit of pink. This baby pink, it's going to go all over the background of this 12 by 24 board. So I'm going to get a lot of it. It's a good amount anyway. I may have to get more, but there's a good amount on there. And I always talk to you guys about offloading, right? I'm going to give myself some more tinfoil, more room to work. I always talk to you about offloading. It's a really, really important concept when you're stenciling. So the brushes, the round brushes from Essential Stencil, these hold the paint really well. They don't lose their bristles. They are out of stock right now. So be patient with the company. They're going to try to get some more. But you're going to load up your brush, your bristles, and that is way too much paint. You want to then come to a dry part of your tinfoil, your paper plate, and offload most of it, and then work the paint into your bristles. You want to work them in so that you have a really dry brush. Can you see that? It doesn't look like there's any paint on there. It looks just tinted, but I promise you I'm going to get paint. And I really do want my background to be discreet and subtle. I do not want a really strong pinstripe back here. That's why I picked the lightest color pink. And I'm actually going to go very light-handed on this. I'm using my left hand to hold down the strips because these little strips, they actually are moving around a little bit as I stencil. So I have a really soft hand with my right hand. This is my right hand, the one with the brush. Really soft hand, really soft coloring here. And I'm holding down firmly with my left hand the stencil. I also have it taped so that it won't move around and budge on me. But I really want to get, I probably went a little too heavy on this side for the look that I'm going for, but it's okay. I'm going to go back in. You notice I did not go into the big vat of the big wet gooey gob of paint here. I went into where I dry brushed to pick up more. That's how little paint you need. If you are struggling with bleed through, this is really important. Okay. Very important. I have a piece of plexiglass. Lisa, you're fascinating me because I see plexiglass and I don't know why you're talking about that. So I'm going to stop for a minute and read this. I got to expand your comment because it says see more. Oh no, Facebook, you got to let me read her comment. I have a piece of plexiglass that I can wash it off after each use and saving the earth with no paper plates or tinfoil. I love it, Lisa. I'm going to go get some. I think that's a fabulous idea. I love it. And Kim says, yes, you do have to work the paint into the brush, especially if you don't have the good brushes. Yes, that's very true. My sister was impatiently waiting for the brushes to come back in stock with Essential Stencil, and she ran out and bought a different set of stencil brushes. And she said to me, I'm so unhappy with them. And I said to her when she asked me, what brushes should I get? I said, get Essential Stencil brushes. Don't even mess around. I said, I have tried several brands. None of them are as good. Just wait for them. She said, but I need brushes to paint. I said, use the makeup wedges until they come back in stock. But she didn't. And now she said, I don't like them. They're not great. They keep losing their bristles. Crystal says, what a great idea. I think she's talking about your idea about the plexiglass, Miss Lisa. Okay, let's get back to it. Oh, ice cream bucket lids. Tammy, great idea. Love it. Love that idea. Okay, I'm coming in. This is much softer. This is actually the look I was going for. You see how much darker it is over here? I don't know that there's anything I can do about that right now, so I'm gonna let it lie and just go a little darker everywhere than I intended. But it's okay, it's all good. I'm gonna do this first row and I'm gonna hinge this up. That's what I call it. I'm gonna take like a little sneak peek at this to see if it's what I want it to look like before I keep going. So now you see on the end, I just want to point out, I'm on the end where this is like where it ends. And rather, I was going really fast, so I'm going to slow down and show you this because I'm not sure that you would have noticed. I am only going in one direction from left to right, from on top of the stencil, off the stencil, like into the design, on top of, off into the design. You don't want to go the other way because if you do, if you have a buildup of paint, it's going to get caught on that lip of the stencil and it's going to bunch up and then you might get bleed through. So I go on top of the stencil edge. Let me move you over. On top of the stencil edge and then off of it. So I'm going toward the middle here, okay? If I went this way and I hit that edge, like I said, if I had any paint buildup, it's gonna show. All right, I'm just gonna look at this. I do not want a solid, perfect stripe. I want it to be kind of messy looking and kind of sparse. I wanted it to be discreet or sparse. I'm moving this tape down here so I can hinge this, but I want it strongly taped down. I don't want it to move or budge on me. I just want to pick it up so I can see what this looks like on there. I like it. It's the background. I really like that this one's very soft right there. So I'm going to go with a lighter hand here, but I have to get going because I got a lot of stripes to do. All right. I added some and I offloaded. I'm going to come in here back and forth. But when I'm over here, I'm just going one direction. I don't want to go back and forth. I just want to go one direction toward the middle. Same on this end, toward the middle. Oh, I got a little ball of paint there. I call them paint boogers. Probably came from the cap. All right, I'm going it's a very, very soft brush stroke. And because these are lines, this is really easy. I can go in one direction and back the other way. It's so easy because they're lines. There's no circles or other shapes to get in there. I like the way this is gonna look. It's just some background to give some visual interest because my stencil that I've chosen, this one, we could probably cuddle. It's like, it's gonna sit right in the middle and there's gonna be like a 2-inch border around it on all sides because it's smaller than the board. So I'm adding this stripe in the background just to add like a visual element of interest and so that the stencil, like the words don't get lost in the middle here. They don't get like lost on the design. I thought about excuse me, just doing these as the background, but I haven't used these stripes yet and I wanted to try them out. They make it so easy. You could use painter's tape to achieve this same look with stripes. You could just use your painter's tape and create the stripes, but this makes it super easy. And I love that they're all different, like widths. They're not all the same. This is not a, what's the word I'm looking for? A sequence that's all the same. They're all different. You got a really skinny one, wider one, skinny one, medium one, skinny, extra wide, skinny, 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 skinny. It's not all uniform. It's all different. Okay, I've done all of them here, and now I've got to repeat this pattern on the other half of my board over here. Okay, so I gotta move this over. Whoa, I just lost one of my Essential Stencil brushes went flying on the floor. Good thing it wasn't the one with paint on it. Okay, so I've got to take this off and move it over, okay? So, because I'm done here, and it's very light, very faint. Boy, I painted that down, or I taped it down really well because it was firmly in place. Okay, so now I want to match these up with the same, I want the same lines. And I want the same distance here on the end. So I'm going to match up square to square, the square on my stencil with the square edge of the board. And then I'm going to make sure that my lines that are already started here match up. I'm not going to have enough room to do the whole stencil because look, here's my stencil right here. Here's the end of my stencil. I know it's hard to see, that's why I'm lifting it up. Here's the end of my stencil. I have about 4 inches already done, but I still need to do this part. So this is great because you can overlap the stencil with what you've already done to make sure that it's lined up perfectly. And then I'm using the square edge, the end of it, to make sure that it's square and straight. Okay, if that makes any sense. Okay, went in, I added more paint, and I'm offloading it. Let me look at comments real quick. They are not, Kathy. I just explained. The stripes were a pre-order special. So the Stencil of the Month Club started on November 14th. They offered those in like October to people who pre-ordered. I think that's what it was for the Stencil of the Month. Maybe it was for I think that's what it was for, but it was a pre-order special, not available anymore. I'm using it as my background, but like I said, you could use painter's tape to create this same look. We have talked, the Essential Stencil team and the brand ambassadors, we have talked about making sure that we're offering more patterns for you guys that can be used as backgrounds. So just keep an eye out for that. We're really working hard, especially the Stencil of the Month Club. You know, the brand ambassadors have, we are each taking a month that we get to do a design. And it's, for me personally anyway, I really want to see that you guys have more background patterns. So when I get my choice to design, I'll be making sure that that's in there. And I know that Essential Stencil has heard that as a suggestion, and they're really trying hard, like to come up with more things like this that you could repeat and make a background of. It's really good to have those in your stash. I'm not using poster board. Marsha, this is a board. It's like a thick, like a 1/4 inch thick MDF board that I bought. Peggy says, I have this stencil, but I have not used it yet. Great idea. Oh, I'm glad you like it. I love the plaid for a background too. And we've seen a lot of buffalo plaid for background. That's why I thought this would just be something different and something fun. Oh, Chrissy says the stripes were for the Christmas pre-order. So thank you for correcting me. I couldn't remember what it was for. It was a pre-order exclusive. Only available for those. And Essential Stencil is so fun. They do such a great job of offering like little incentives for joining. Like if you join the Stencil of the Month Club for 6 months and you prepay for the 6 months, you get, I don't even have it on, but let me go get it. The Essential Stencil, I forgot to put it on my apron. You guys, I told you I was having like a nasty coughing fit before I hit the live button, like nasty coughing fit. That's why I was a little late. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get it under control. Here, if you join the Stencil of the Month Club for 6 months, they send you this little apron for free. They have so many great little specials for you guys. I love being part of this company and representing them. So proud to do that. Thank you, Kathy. I'm glad to hear that. She says, your lives and videos are so helpful. Roxy says, Essential Stencil, please make this available again. All right. I already loaded up my brush, and I've been talking for a few minutes, so I don't know. The paint, no, it's still there. I was going to say it may have dried up by now. Nope, it's still there. I'm going to hold this down firmly with my left hand. Now, the only trick I have is this. There's a line right here. I need to blend well right here to make sure that that line is not real obvious. And it shouldn't be a problem where it was a really faint paint job, like really soft and discreet. But this one was where I started, and it was pretty heavy, pretty strong. So I got to really get in there and make sure to, in fact, I might just stipple some on right there just to disguise that little line. That worked perfectly. Stippling, that's what I call it, the up and down. I call that stippling. So if you wanted to add just a little darkness in 1 or 2 places here on your line, you could stipple it in. It also gives the texture a little bit of variation. All right, I need more paint. Going in, going back in, folks. to add more paint and then working it into my bristles. You notice I spend a little bit of time on the tin foil before I come to my board. All right, I'm at the end. I need to make sure I go on the stencil, and then off to the board, in the direction of the board. Don't go the other way, because that little line may give you some trouble if you have too much paint on your brush, which I know that a lot of new folks, people who are new to stenciling, that is a big challenge for you guys, but it comes with time. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself the time to learn what the right amount of paint is for the brushes that you own. It takes some practice. It takes some time. It's kind of like learning how to make grandma's sauce, like her gravy. Sometimes you just have to like make it 20 times before you get it right, right? So it's the same thing here. You got to like work with your brushes, work with your stencils, create things, and you may have to do it a dozen times before you really get a feel for the way you want to use your brushes and what the right amount of paint is, etc., etc. So don't lose hope if you're struggling with that a little bit. I know that some of you struggle. Don't lose hope. Just keep working at it. Have fun with it. That's the main thing. Make sure you let yourself have fun with it and not take it so seriously. And I always advise, like I told my sister, I use my little books to practice. Like I was practicing flower arrangements. And I use these books that you can buy. I use these books to practice my stenciling too. I was trying to stencil with foil and metallics over the 4th of July holiday. So I use these books. Let me show you the front of it. They're just sketch pads that you can get. I just got a new one for watercolors. I'm so excited because I'm really exploring watercolors right now. Let me show. It just came in the mail today. I just got this one. So you can buy these sketchbooks at all the hobby stores. Walmart has them. I bet Target has them. I'm not sure. I don't have a Target near me, so I don't really know that store very well. But I got this one off Amazon, and I bought specifically for using watercolor. The paper is different. So if you want a thicker paper that will withstand the paint, you might want to go with the, there's one that is multimedia, which is a thicker paper, and this one is the watercolor one. And I think this is in my Amazon store. If you go to the link for my Amazon store, I have a section called Craft Supplies You'll Love, and that'll probably be in there. Karen says she just got done from cleaning up from making 12 signs today, 6 laundry and 6 bakery. Now I need to seal them and frame them all. Then I'll try to sell them. Good for you. It's a great way to make a little extra money, and it's fun. And Brittany says, I need so many of these stencils. Just start slow. There's so many on the website. I love that Essential Stencil has like Valentine and Christmas and Easter are all up. You can get your patriotic 4th of July ones. They're all up right now. They don't take them down by season, which I love, because especially if you're a sign maker and you're making signs for your events throughout the year, you don't start making Christmas signs in October if you do vendor events. You start like in March making Christmas signs for the next year, because you know when you need to make 15 of them for your booth, you need to give yourself the time. So anyway, I'm so happy that they do that. I'm so happy that they give us that option. Okay, I'm going to tell you something. I'm really happy with most of this, except I don't know if you can see this right here. And I don't know that anybody else would notice it but my eye. But I can see the line of where I stopped right there. So I'm just going to scoot this over, this whole stencil. I'm happy with everything else. So I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to scoot it over just enough so I can get to that line. And I'm going to stipple on that for a minute here to fix it, because I'm not happy with that. And I usually, honestly, I don't usually get worked up about stuff like that, because I know in the scheme of the whole picture, no one is going to notice that line but me. But I knew it was a quick fix. So that is done. So now, let me hold this up for you so you can see it half done, okay? Hey, Lorraine in Michigan. Oh, Judy. She says you are one of my favorites. Thank you. Thanks for saying that. That means a lot to me. It really does. I appreciate that. Donna says, I'm already making Christmas tags for next Christmas for my kids and grandkids. See, not everybody waits till October to do this stuff. So I'm so happy that Essential Stencil leaves it up and running. Betty says, I just made Blessed, Thankful, and Grateful as a gift for my granddaughter's new house. Where did that go? Turned out beautiful. My friends saw them now. I have a set for her. Yay, have to make a set for her. Do it. Go for it. It's such a great gift to give to somebody. Hey, Brooksy. My friend Brooksy is watching from Massachusetts. So happy to have you on board. Hey, Sheila. I haven't seen you in a while, Miss Sheila Whitford. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for joining us. All right, so halfway done. This is just my background. And then on top of this, we're going to put the words, we should probably snuggle, because that's just darling. So I have to get the other half of this done. So I'll show you how I'm going to line this up. It just takes a little planning. That's all. Just a little planning. So now I told you these are all very unique. It's not like every single one. There's 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all different. So if I wanted to line this up and make sure that I'm on target, what I could do is line up these 3 skinny ones here. So the 3 skinny ones were here and I painted. Now if I flip this and just match up the 3 skinny ones again, then I'm going to be filling it in with these others. That's how I'm going to do it. You can do it any way you want, of course. I always tell you, I'm not the boss of you in your craft room, on your projects. You do it however you want. But the nice thing about straight lines is it's a good measuring stick for are you straight? If my lines that I've already painted are all fitting in there perfectly, I know that I'm straight. And then these lines will also be straight. They'll also match. So you always overlap something that you've already done when you're trying to do patterns, so that you make sure you're straight. I have to offload a little bit. Look at that, really dry. It doesn't look like there's any paint on there, but you'll see that there is plenty of paint for me to go ahead and paint my lines. I have to make sure on the end here, I'm gonna pick up a little more paint, that I go just in one direction. I don't want to go against the edge of the stencil. And I'm going very purposely going with a very uneven look. Part of my strategy with that, I'll be honest with you guys, part of my strategy with that, with a very uneven look, is it allows you to be imperfect. It gives you the room to you don't notice mess ups because it's all messed up. That's the whole look of it, is very grainy looking and imperfect paint coverage. And then it doesn't matter that some of it's darker over here and some of it's lighter over there, or you skipped a little bit. It doesn't matter because it's very forgiving method. Hello, buddy. I have a visitor. Hold on 1 minute. Hi, love bug.
I'm going to bed.
You're going to bed? What time is it, love?
Like 8:20.
You know, I won't see you in the morning because I'm leaving really early.
Yeah.
So, you going to sleep right now? Or are you going to do some reading in bed?
I'm going to bed. I just spent like 4 hours studying.
Oh, good, great. Okay, give me a kiss. I'm going to go offline here for a minute because my bugs needs a kiss. Good night.
Night.
I love you. God bless you. I'll call you tomorrow. Okay?
I'm going to wake up early tomorrow.
I'm going to be gone.
I know.
Yeah, so God bless you. I love you. I'll catch up with you later, buddy. Okay, I'm flying out tomorrow to a conference in Arizona. And my flight is at 5 a.m., so I have to be at the airport at 4. Thankfully, it's a local airport. Usually we drive an hour and a half to get to the airport, the regional, the bigger airport. This time, since it was just me and we're going west, not east, I booked with United, but I have to be at the airport at 4, so I know I won't see him. I won't see my kids. They're going to be asleep when I leave the house. All right. So thank you for giving me that minute just to get a little kiss from my little bug. That was my 12-year-old, Gannon. Oh, Tammy says goodnight. You guys are sweet. You guys are sweet. Karen, you can stencil after you spray seal. Okay, you guys are chatting. That's good. Chat with each other. Answer your question, each other's questions. Thank you, Cindy. She says, kiss your baby. Hey, Patty from Wisconsin. It's fine that you're late. Beth says, I've learned so much from you and all the ambassadors. You've taught me everything I know about stenciling, and you guys, your comment. Oh, there it is. I was able to open it up, and I appreciate you. This is my second income. Oh, Beth, that's so good to hear. I'm so glad. That's just fabulous. I love to hear that you're able to take something you love and something you're passionate about and earn a little extra income. All right, For this one, I'm only need 2 more rows. I don't need this last row. You see it's hanging off the edge of the board. So I can pick this up now. I should have checked, but it's like I said, it's a very grainy look. I'm not going for complete perfection here. Do you see how it's darker in some areas and lighter than others? The closer I get, the more you can see how grainy that is. This gives you a lot of room for just imperfections and it not being perfect. It gives you a lot of room for that because that's the look. That's the look. I'm not going for perfect coverage. I'm going for scratchy coverage. Okay. I want to line this up, my 3. Okay, so this is the last row that I did. And on my stencil, I'm going to use that row to line. I'm going to put it right over that and line it up. And then this paint is dry now, so I can use my painter's tape to tape this down. I'm a little bit off, so I better not tape it down just yet. I want it to match perfectly. And if I match it for the whole length of this, this matches up perfectly, you're pretty safe with the rest of them matching up perfectly. So see that? I just have a little bit left to do here on the end, right here. And then we're gonna get to the next part, which is putting, we should probably Cuddle over on top of it. And I'm gonna do that in a really dark pink, the honeysuckle pink, which is the same pink that's on the frame. My paint, I pushed a little too hard, so I got a really strong coloring right here. And that's fine, but I'm gonna move away from that section and use up this, because I apparently have lots of paint on here. I'm gonna use it in a different area. Let's make sure my lines match up and I don't have a straight line here from where I left off. The stippling helps with that, because you can fill in a little darker just in one place. See, it's just a little too dark. I don't want to see that straight line from the last paint job. I don't want to see it straight. I don't mind this little section being a little darker, but I do not want to see, you can see right there is where I stopped. There's a straight line right there. Can you see it? Right there. I want that to disappear. So the technique that I'm using for that is I'm just stippling over that on the other side just to make it darker so that the straight line disappears. Now it's just like a wacky Mod Podge of darker paint right there, which more matches the look of the whole thing, which is very scratchy looking and imperfect looking. I really like this soft pink. I got it on sale, obviously, on clearance. It's baby pink from Folk Art. And I really like the Folk Art paint more than I like the Apple Barrel. The Apple Barrel is thinner and I feel like you have to put more coats to get better coverage. This I think has better coverage, but clearly I have both in my stash. So I use whatever I have on hand. I don't get real worked up about the brand of paint. And like I said with the brushes, you guys, I encourage you to try them both. Like, okay, I may tell you that this is my favorite brand, but you may not like it as much as I like it for whatever reason. It's kind of like a personal preference thing. Some people like Diet Coke, some people like Diet Pepsi, and for a while my sister only drank, I think it was Coke Zero, right? So they're all diet colas, but we have different preferences. Same thing with paint, it's the same thing with brushes, with all of it. So I encourage you to just like try it. Just like, if you're not sure if you're gonna like Apple Barrel, just buy one jar. These are usually about anywhere from $1.50 to $2, right? For a jar of this. And sometimes you can get them on sale for like 25 cents. Try it, then you'll know if you like one more than you like the other. I love Martha Stewart. I have discovered that I really like her metallics and her pearls. Her metallics and her pearls are awesome. Those paint that have the paints that have those features. I've never used her other, like, I don't even know, does she have like regular acrylics? I've never used them. I always buy her metallics because I think they're awesome. Okay, I need a little more paint over here. This is really light for me. I'm feeling like I need a little more, so I need to go to my paint here and just add a little more to my brush and work it in. Then from on the border of the stencil off to the middle, Oh, I can hear my son's playing guitar downstairs. He got an electric guitar for Christmas. This is my 14-year-old, my older child. My younger child is the one that just came to say goodnight. Oh, I'm missing a lot of comments. I didn't realize. Rhonda says, have a good time at conference and bring back some new ideas. Oh, definitely. And it's a creative conference. It's for Chacator. So it's a leadership conference. So I'll be meeting with all the other, I get to meet, it's funny because so many of the people I work with, like you guys, you're not with me here. So I've gotten to know you guys because you're here with me on a weekly basis doing these lives, but I've not met you in person. It's going to be really fun to meet some of these folks in person. It's not an Essential Stencil conference though, Karen, let me tell you. Amanda from Metal Modern Design and I are both going to this leadership conference, and we are going to meet with the Essential Stencil folks, the owners and leaders over there. We're going to meet them for dinner tomorrow night. So I'm very excited because I've been working with them for a very long time. I get to meet them in person, which is just going to be a thrill. Oh, Betty, thank you. That was something sweet you said. Dorothy says, Phoenix is not too warm right now. I live 60 miles south of there. Well, I'll tell you what. It was 2 degrees today. I went to go get my kids from school, and we had to run into the store. It was 2 degrees, and I looked, my son said, Mom, the Weather Channel says it feels like 15 below. And I will tell you, I wear a coat like the collar comes up to here, and it zips up like up to my chin, and it goes all the way down to like my mid calf. That was all warm. My face, I felt like it was gonna fall off. My face was, and that's probably why I'm so red. I probably got like some sort of windburn or something. It was so cold, you guys. I can't take it. I do not like that cold. So 60, like if it's 60, I know the girls were saying it's gonna be like 60 in Phoenix. I'm gonna be in Scottsdale, which is close to Phoenix, I think. We're flying into Phoenix. But anyway, Dorothy, I promise you, whatever weather you have is going to be a lot warmer than what I have here. Cindy says she likes folk art too. Oh, a few of you said you like the folk art paint. All right, let me see. I'm missing out on so many comments. So many, I'm sorry. Yeah, Susan says, brr, 56 here in Missouri. That sounds nice. 6 here this morning. Judy, where are you? She's saying 6 degrees where she was. Joy says it's supposed to be 60. Oh, 7 below, Vicky. Where are you, Vicky Dowell? Oh, Kathy says folk art is 30% off too. She's answering Brenda, but where is that discount coming from? Arizona is much warmer. I live in Vermont. Karen, I'm a New England girl. I grew up in Boston. Okay, let's take this off. I'm done with the border, or the background, I should say. You could use these stripes as a cute border, right? You could pick the stripe that you like the most and just use that as a border on. That would be really cute because you could just go all the way around in a square. I see a line I dislike. I'm going to hold it up so you can see. I got to fix it because it's just too, can you see that? That one's really obvious. You see that line right there? Let's fix it. I'm not happy with that. I'm going to show you. I'm just going to go in and stipple. I'm going to line this up. I'm going to hold it in place with my hand. Oh, no, I'm going to have to fix it again. I got to get some paint on my brush. I have to fix that line. That's going to bug me. And I'm just going to stipple on the lighter side. And that's just going up and down until that line just naturally kind of disappears. And I'm not going in a line. I'm kind of stippling willy-nilly over it so that it naturally disappears. I want that line to go away. So I'm going down the line and adding a little bit of paint, really focusing on that line. Now it's, oh, I'm stuck to my hand. Now it's less noticeable. I'll show you here in a second. All right. Now it's less noticeable. I just painted over it. So it's just dark there now, darker than in other places. So now my background's done. I'm going to show you real quick. Background is done. When this is complete, this is going to go on top, and that border matches up perfectly with my frame. Okay, now what's going to go on top of this now is, we should probably cuddle. If you have not worked with Essential Stencils yet, but you're a stenciler, I would suggest that you just go ahead, use my coupon code, The Comfy Nest, to get 10% off. Just go ahead and order one set of stencils, or maybe you'll win one tonight. I'm going to give away 3. They are really thick and easy to work with. They're really thick and easy to clean. Even though they're thick Mylar, you can still see through them. So when you're trying to line things up, it makes it really easy. I have purchased stencils before that are like a dark blue or like a deep purple vinyl. That is really hard to see through when you're trying to line things up. So I would suggest, if you haven't tried them, that you try them. Yeah, Dana says she loves the border. I'm so glad. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, Christine, use my coupon code, The Comfy Nest. It's all as one word, no capitals, just The Comfy Nest. Debbie says, I just started using them and I'm obsessed. I'm so glad you're loving them. Okay, now it does matter. There is a hanger on the back of this. So there is a top and a bottom. So I'm glad I looked because I would have had it upside down. I want this to be centered. Oh, actually, I need to decide. I first was considering centering this, but then I thought maybe it would be nice to just have it in the lower right-hand corner. Like if I lined, and this is how I do my alignments to see if this is going to work. If I lined this up on the square, and then I put this over it, is it going to be like perfectly aligned? No, I'm going to lose the bottom of the D if I do that. So I would have to lift this up a little bit, but maybe I should do this in the lower right. We should probably cuddle. Then I could put, if I wanted to, like a heart. I was going to do something with these hearts, but I also have, oh, did I just get paint on there? I also have the heart add-on for this month's essential, the stencil of the month. This is the add-on option, and you get all these awesome hearts to work with. So you have to be a member of the club, and then you can choose to add this on to your monthly subscription. This comes with all these fabulous hearts, so maybe I should put one of these hearts up here in the corner here, and then put we should probably cuddle. I think that's what I'm going to do. Down on the lower right. And I'm going to do this all in the same pink that's on the border, which is this honeysuckle. Okay, so that's my plan. Just came up with my plan. Oh, Brenda says she thinks it's better in the middle. You picked the wrong week to be in Florida, 40 to 50s in the mornings, but starting tomorrow, next 2 weeks will be hot and no rain. Bill's saying he just cleaned a bunch of stencils today and how easy they were to clean up. They are. They're so easy because they're nice and thick. Oh, Brittany's saying center it. Give me your vote, you guys. Center or off to the right? Brittany says center it. Oh, Lori says add the heart and the pearl. That's a great idea. Christine says right corner. Debbie says lower corner. Linda says in the corner. She said in the corner, but I know you meant corner, Linda. I do it all the time with the typos. I get so excited and I type too fast. Word down in the corner, Heather says. Love it in the corner, Dawn says. Oh my gosh, you guys. Joanne's patiently waiting on her stencils. They're on their way. They are fulfilling orders, I promise you. Linda says corner. Patty says corner. Sheila says corner. All right, with the scribbly heart. Donna suggests. Okay, lower corner, add the heart. All right, let's do it. Okay, so it's good that I have the frame because I need to make sure that I don't lose any parts of my words. So I'm just gonna eyeball it, and I'm gonna make sure, like, here's the end of my E, that I have about the same distance, which is about 1/2 inch all the way around. Or the other thing I could do, I have a 1/2 inch here. I could use the lines to make sure that the letters, we probably should cuddle that they're all straight. Okay, so now that I know I have my alignment left and right, the alignment is where I want it. Now I'm going to figure the up and down, and I'm going to go according to the lines to make sure that I have a straight, because it's not straight right now. Right now, if I use the lines as my gauge, I'm a little bit off balance. So I'm going to straighten this out. Now, what this is going to do is is going to fall right on, like, right in the middle of 2 pink lines. Is going to be on a white part, which is perfect. And then Cuddle's just going to be over all of the lines. Okay, I'm going to take this down because I'm nervous that it's going to move on me And once I have it in place, that's the place I want it. So, checking my alignment one more time, just to make sure. Okay, I'm liking it where it is. I'm gonna firmly put my hand on it, and then I'm gonna tape around it in a couple of spots so that it just stays in place. Now, let me say to you, the words we should probably, can you see them now? They're very small. It is really hard on these very small design elements, whether they're letters or not, to do this and get full coverage. You probably could do little circles, but what I tend to do, it's just the way I like to do it, is the stippling. So you're gonna hear a lot of like banging on the thing here, stippling. Hey, Monica in Nashville, hello, hello. Judy says, such great ideas. I love your brainstorming with your viewers. Oh, I'm so glad. Like Judy, I'm so glad you brought that up because I have thought about it. I have watched other crafters craft. It's like a pastime, right? Those of us who love it, like I could watch YouTube videos and Facebook videos of people doing live demos all the time. I love it. And I've watched people who don't do that and they look so very organized and planned out ahead of time, which they are. And I often wonder, like, does it help for you to hear my brain ramblings and my ideas as I go? Or would you rather just see me sit down and do it and not tell you any of that background? I like to talk it through, so I'm glad you said that. Rhonda said some hearts and red would look good. I do use the makeup wedges. I'm a huge fan of them. In fact, I have one right here. I got one right here. I am a huge fan. Hey, Barbara in Rhode Island. Yeah, Teresa, I go back and forth. The bigger stencils, I tend to use the brushes because it's faster. And the littler ones, if I'm just stippling, I need some of this hot pink paste or paint. If I'm just going up and down, I'll use the makeup wedges. I'm going to stipple the smaller letters like I just explained to you, but these bigger letters, I want to have the sweeping motions with the brush. So I'm just going to stick with my brush. It's already dirty. I'm not going to use this pink again, which is the lighter pink. I'm going to go straight into my darker pink, which is the honeysuckle. I'm not even going to change brushes. Too much paint. I'm going to add a bunch on there, and then I'm going to offload, right? We're offloading it, and we're in little circles. We're massaging it in. It's actually combining with the lighter pink to create a new color. I need to be careful. I'm going to keep working in more paint here because I don't want to have two different colors. I want one really deep color, but because I already had the light pink on there, it was creating a new color. Okay, so way too much paint still on my paintbrush. Do you see how much I'm getting off when I offload? See, it's just really, really, really full. Okay, so you want to offload so that your bristles look really dry. Okay, now I also like these bristles because they're long. So you can see I've worked the paint about a ½ inch up in the bristles, and I still have like another almost an inch there to work with. So it's not getting the base, this flange, I call it a flange. It's not getting this base all mucked up and dirty. Sometimes when they come, do I have an example? Hold on, let me see if I have an example. Sometimes they come with a shorter base, and when the paint gets up in here, it gets really messy and hard to clean. I like that these have a longer base. Anyway, that's just, again, my ramblings. I'm gonna go in with We Should Probably, and I'm just gonna start stippling. I have a lot of paint on my brush, so this is easy to do, just up and down. I'm not going side to side at all. I'm going right over the letter. By the time I get these done, I'm going to be able to go in with the word Cuddle and easily get those done too. And I'm going to use a sweeping motion or a circle motion on those. See, there's no right or wrong. It's just what feels good to you, what works for you. And over time, as you keep doing projects, even if you're doing them in your sketchbook, you're going to develop your own style and your own technique of like how to apply it that works for you. I tell you the way I do it. It's great to have the other brand ambassadors, Sharon, Amanda, Melissa, telling you the way they do it, whether they like the makeup wedges, whether they like the brushes, what kind of brushes they like. We all have different preferences. That's why it's really important that you go figure out what you like because everybody's different. Now I'm coming into the word Cuddle, okay? And the very end of this is really skinny. So I'm not going with sweeping. I'm gonna stipple the skinny part. It was skinny and it was curved. So the up and down works better for me right there. I may have to come back in and do another coat of this. The really skinny parts, like this line right here and the word cuddle is very skinny. I'm gonna stipple it. It's just what's more comfortable for me. I know if you watch Sarah Breckenridge, what's the name of her store? I can't remember. Redeemed Decor. She does the circle motion a lot and it works really well for her. The circles on really big parts don't make me nervous, but on, I don't know why, on the skinnier ones, I like to stipple. Again, there's no right or wrong. It's just figuring out what works best for you. See here, we got the D. It's kind of fat right there, the letter, that part of the D. So you can do a sweeping motion or a circle, and I feel more comfortable with that. But on the really skinny ones, I feel like if you're circling, you have a lot of edges that your brush is gonna rub up against. And so for me, I feel like it's a greater chance of bleed through if you have too much paint on your brush. Where if I'm going this way, this is the D, and it's really long and it's pretty wide. It goes from here to here. So I can very easily do a sweeping motion and feel very comfortable with that because I'm not going against the edge of the stencil. I'm going in alignment with it, kind of like the lines were. Now there's a sweeping scrolly part of the next D that comes across here and it's very skinny. So I'm gonna stipple it. It's just the way I do it, you guys. Like I said, it doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong. It's just my preference. We like to show you, and you have all the brand ambassadors to watch so that you can decide try them all, try all these techniques and decide which one you like most or best, like the one that works for you best. I don't know if you noticed, here's where my original paint gob was. I'm going back into my like land of offloaded paint. That's where I go to get more paint for my brush. I don't go to the big gob. I go back to the land of offload. I guess that's what I'll call it. I mean, am I goofy or what? I come up with my own terms for everything. The land of offload. Bill says, they said the brushes should be in a couple of weeks. You can add them to your name to a list to get a notification. Oh, I can't see the rest of your comment. He had more to say. I can't see it, you guys. I can't see it. Excuse me. If you do get bleed through, Mark Tracy is asking, if you do get bleed through, how do you correct it? If it's a background that's solid, you're just gonna go in with a little paintbrush with that paint color and just clean it up with the background paint color. It's a little more tricky when you have, now here we have all these stripes. So if the bleed through goes over a couple of stripes, so it's on part of the white and part of the pink, you can go in with a tiny little brush, tiny little paintbrush with some white and a tiny little paintbrush with some pink, and I just dab it with a little bit of that color paint to make it blend through and get rid of that bleed through. Blend so that it blends in with the original paint color that you have down there on your background. Now, it's harder to do if you are staining your wood and you have a stained wood and you get bleed through that. It's much harder to do. I don't stain a lot. I don't. First of all, I don't like doing it. I don't enjoy staining wood at all. It's just a mess. It's a mess to clean up. Excuse me. It takes a long time to dry and cure. I'm just not a fan of it. I like the look of it. I don't do it a lot. It's just too much work for me. I really do not enjoy it, so I don't stain a lot. If you're staining, it's a little harder to clean that up. What I would suggest is to pick up your stencil more often if you're working on a stained piece. Hinge it up more often and look to see if you have bleed through, and clean it up immediately with like a Q-tip or like a stiff bristled brush that has just water on it, so you can wet it down and then go with your Q-tip and take off the excess paint. But I don't use stain a lot. What is the thickness of my board? It's about 1/4 inch. I'll show it to you at the end if you want it. It's about 1/4 inch. I'm almost done. I got to go into the land of offload here and get more paint. Okay, I'm on the wider or fatter part of this D, so I can do some sweeping motions, but on the skinnier parts, I like to stipple. Oh my goodness, this cough. All right, here we get the long, wide part of this D. And I'm gonna stipple over these wide stripes because I want them to kind of blend. I want them to kind of disappear. I want them to go away. I don't want to see the stripes through my letters. If it happens, I'm not gonna get real worked up. You know, if it happens, you would want that to happen all over the whole thing where you could see the stripes. If you don't want to see the stripes, you're going to work over the whole thing to make them disappear. And stippling is the easy way to cover that up. I got some of the skinny parts here, but it's a long, straight skinny. So I'm going in one sweeping motion and not against the lip of the stencil design. I am gonna hinge this up here in a minute and look at it and see what kind of coverage I have. Now, I promise you, the person who is designing, the person who is doing the painting, we notice everything because we got our noses right in here. We're the one doing the painting. So we notice all the nuances of whether or not the line shows, like the background pinstripes are showing. We notice all that stuff. The person who's looking at this piece of art or this decor on the wall, they are not picking up on any of that, you guys. I promise you. They're just looking at it and saying, oh my gosh, that is a really cute sign. They are not analyzing, or like we do, over-analyzing. They are not over-analyzing these little minute details like we do. They just don't. They're looking at it and just appreciating like the overall look, the overall view. This paint is coming across to me as a little darker. Remember I told you I had some paint on my brush already from the light pink and I blended it in. Okay, I needed a little more paint. I went straight into the honeysuckle. It's darker. It's darker. I'm noticing it. Again, I'm telling you, the people who are looking at this on the wall are probably not going to notice it as much as me. But to make it blend, this E, part of the E that I was finishing up, that's going to be a little darker. I'm actually going to come in and try to grab a little bit, if I can, of the other color and blend it in on my brush to get it like a closer match. I'm going to fill this in, and then I'm going to come, because it was just on part of the E, I'm going to come down the line here, and I'm going to add a little bit of this darker pink to like various parts of my letters. This is all dry now, so I'm adding like a second coat, and not perfectly. I'm not doing it perfectly. Kind of like my stripes. Parts of this Cuddle, the word Cuddle is going to be darker, and parts of it aren't. Again, if you go with that like variance and you're not going for perfect coverage, you're giving yourself that permission to be imperfect. It's the look that we're going for. It's so much more forgiving than try to get perfect coverage. Okay, I'm going to hinge this up so I can look at it and just see if the coverage is what I want. I can't tell with the stencil. The stencil has so much paint on it. It's really hard for me to see what it's going to look like when I pick it up. So I need to pick it up and look at it. I have this here. Actually, I'm going to add one more piece of tape over here because this is on the edge and that needs to come up. So I'm going to tape strongly down two parts of it. So if I have to put it back down and keep painting, I'm not going to lose my place. I call this the hinge method. I'm going to go all the way back with this so you can try to see it. Can you see that? I do have some bleed through. I'll have some bleed through right there. I'm not even going to worry about it. I have a little bit right there. I'll show you. I'm going to hold it up really close. I'm not even going to worry about it. It is super cute just the way it is. I like it. Okay, so there's one part of the D, this scroll right here, that's really faint in here. So I'm going to add just a little bit more paint right there. And then I'm going to call it good. Okay, I'm going to hinge it one more time. to look at it. I do have a little bleed through, but I love it. Okay, I'm pulling this up so we can decide on a heart. I gotta find a place to put this. I'll put it with the other one. Let me hold this up. Low battery mode. All right, first of all, let me get a little plug in here so that I don't lose you. I actually have to move the camera because the cord doesn't even fit there. Kim says it's so cute. I love the colors too, Janet. I went with baby pink. It was a white background. I just painted it white, the board. And then baby pink were the stripes, and honeysuckle pink are the words and the frame. I'll show you that in a second, but let me just hold this up in its entirety right now. This is what it looks like. We should probably cuddle. We could leave it like this, very, very plain, and actually I'll ask for your vote. Leave it like this, very plain, or put a heart in the corner. What would you do? Tell me, heart or plain? Add the heart or plain? Kathy says she loves it. I'm so glad. 2 Kathys, love the colors. So cute, love this. Okay, this is an adorable little sign. I'm gonna show you my bleed through in a minute. Uno momento. Okay, here's my frame. Let me, because then you'll have more an idea of what it'll look like when it's completely done. Here's my frame. Blue on the outside, blue on the inside of the frame, but the outside top is that honeysuckle pink. This is what it's gonna look like in its frame. Put something here or not. Add a heart. Don't add a heart. You guys tell me. Add a heart, leave it plain. Here's what it's going to look like. You cannot see my bleed through, can you? You cannot see it. When this is hanging on my wall and somebody walks by it and says, oh my gosh, Grace, that sign's really cute. Thank you. I made that. It was so fun to make. They are not seeing my bleed through. Okay. It's going on my wall. I'm not going to fix it because it doesn't bother me. Let me hold it up really close and show you. Because it makes me a little sad. It does make me a little sad sometimes when I hear from you guys that, and I know bleed through can be so frustrating, but if it's just a little bitty itty bitty bleed through and it's for your house or it's a gift for somebody, I promise you, or it's like your porch sign, I promise you no one's looking that closely. Can you see? I got a little bubble of bleed through right there. Can you see that? I have a little bit more on my E. You see it? It's there. I got bleed through. Yes, I'm a brand ambassador. Yes, I represent the company. And yes, I get bleed through. It happens. It's okay. It's okay. Do I have any on this C? I have some right here on the U, right here. A little bit of a bubble right there on the U, but I'm telling you, it is not a big deal. It's not. Now, if you are making signs to sell, I would agree this is a different issue. And I would agree that if you had major bleed through, yes, you need to fix it or start over. I would agree with that. Major bleed through. Minor bleed through, when people know that it's handmade, it was not made on a factory line, that it took me an hour to make the sign for them. I know that people don't mind. They don't mind. They're looking for homemade. Okay, heart or no heart? Barbara says no heart. Lori says both would be good. Yes, Mimi says don't worry about it. I agree, Mimi. Pancho Cindy Hernandez, they say it happens. Yeah, we could add the SH to that, right? That's funny. Cheryl says, oh well, it's not a big deal. Yes, and Brenda said I would never have noticed it if you had not pointed it out. That's why I'm telling you not to stress over it. I know that when we're looking at it and we have our eyes and our face on it so closely and we're the one painting it, we notice it. But I promise you, 99% of people are not going to notice it when they're looking at this cute sign on the wall. It is made with love, Tracy. You're so right. And Sherry says you have to look really close to see. Exactly. And perfectly perfect. I'm a huge advocate of that. Okay, Maureen says add a heart. Carol says add a heart. I'm looking for votes. Who says heart or no heart? Neil says add a heart. Brad and Lori says add a heart. Lori. And then she signed it, Lori. Debbie says she likes it plain. Ooh, Peggy, good idea. 2 hearts with initials inside. So like if this is going over my bed, my husband's name is Chris, it could say C and G. Do a heart in an angle. Judy, that was my original thought. Debbie loves this so much. Donna says it's cute as it is. Pat loves the layering. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Kathy says add the heart. Christine says add the heart. Elizabeth says add the heart. Debbie says she loves it the way it is. I'm going to scroll down and see. Heart, add a heart. No bridges is awesome. Right, Lori? I agree with that. Don says add a heart. Kathy says don't sweat the small stuff. You're so right. All right, let me add a heart. I see a lot of hearts. Let me add a little heart here in the corner. I'm gonna put the camera down so you can see. You can scratch the little bit bleed through off with a straight pin after it's dry. Yes, or like an X-Acto knife. You could scratch it off. But there's the issue of not wanting to scratch all the way through to your wood, your original wood, because then that would make it look a little goofy. Or if it's stained and you scratch through the stain, then you'd see like that, I think would be more noticeable. So just keep that in mind, but I agree with you that you could scrape part of it off. All right, let me put the frame back on and let's check out. A lot of you want the heart. Okay, so here's the sign in its entirety. And we're thinking a heart right here in the corner. I kind of agree. I really like it plain, you guys. This is the fun part about the designing of it. This heart's way too big. I was gonna think of that one, but I think it's way too big. I really love the look of this heart, but I think it's too small. So what if I did 2 or 3 of those little hearts, right? I like this like really scrappy looking one. Can you see it? It's kind of like real scrappy looking. So the issue for me is placement, and I have to take the frame off to place it to get this down. It's upside down for me, so let me turn this real quick so that I can see what I'm doing. Lois says she loves it as it is. Geraldine says, yes, yes, yes. Need the stripes, yes. What's the link to the stripes? The stripes are not available right now. I'm so sorry, you guys, to tell you that, Liz. Not available right now. They were an exclusive offer to people who pre-ordered for Christmas. Make sure you're on the mailing list so you guys get all those offers. Yes, 3. I love that heart, Judy says. 3. Yes, Judy says always an odd number. Do 3 of them coming down. Linda, good idea. All right, let's take a look. I need this on here because I need to see my placement. My border of my background will help me with that. So I need to just make sure I stay on the stripes. But doing 3, that's a cute idea. That would be more linear. I actually really like that because I want to do 3 hearts anyway. Linda, was it you? I'm so glad you said that. So if I go 3, I'm just looking for placement now. So here's the center of my board. And if I started with the one in the center, see, I feel like that one's too, is it too small, that heart? If I started with the one in the center and then just equally spaced from the top, the other 2. Let's try this. I hope they're not too small. I really like, excuse me, I really like that scrappy heart though, so I'm gonna try it. I'm going for it, dudes. There is a little tool that will sort of erase off paint. It has a rubber tip, looks like an eraser with a point. Wait, I gotta hit the see more button. I cannot see everything. This is a paint eraser too, I'm pretty sure. It's called a sand eraser. I haven't even used it yet. Oh, maybe I should try it. I just don't want to erase my background off. I'm going to try it on this tiny little blurb of paint that I have here. Now that you mention it, I forgot that they do make these sand erasers. And it's funny, this blurb, oh my gosh, you guys, it is kind of like it's minimalizing it. Okay, I got to do that for you. And I need you to see this. Hold on. I'm going to like really zoom you in and see if you can see this. Okay, I'm going to zoom in on, see this blurb? I call it a blurb. You see that little blot right there? I don't know what else to call it. Blurb, blot, right here. You see that? I'm going to try to erase it. This is a sand eraser. Pretty sure I got off Amazon. Okay, sand eraser. For ink, it says, but it did reduce that other little dot of bleed through. All right, I'm flipping this over, and I will point out to you. Hold on, I'll get you back in here. Hold on. Where are you? Where's right there? Okay. I want to point out to you, this is on the white background. Thankfully, I would not erase, or I suppose you could, on the pink background if it was just a little tiny piece, because I wouldn't want my stripes to get messed up. But I am going to try. I'm going to show you how I can minimize that with this little sand eraser. I have had this for a long time and I've never used it. It's just going to minimize it. It's not going to take it away completely. But look at this, you guys. It is minimizing it. Okay, I did buy this off Amazon. I'm going to add it to my craft supplies you love section on my Amazon store so you guys can easily find it. Look, it minimized it. It did not. I'm trying not to get into the base of the letter, but look at that. Okay, and this is, I'm doing it on, this is what the board looked like before. It's just an MDF board. It's just a board, right? I painted it white, so I'm erasing that off of white paint. But look, it did. It minimized it. So you could take this little sand eraser, and it's nice and pointy now because it's brand new. And if you had bigger bleed throughs, you have one there. I'm not going to worry about it right now, to be truthful with you, but that was a good little experiment to do together. So how do you like them apples? Wait, I got a not extreme close-up of my face, please. I wonder, Beth says, if you could use the paint erasers on stain. I have no idea, Beth. This is part of the discovery process of trying different things. Sonia says, I need this. Mimi says, wow. Brittany says, amazing. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, Erin. I love that comment. That's the best. Awesome, awesome. A sand eraser. I will add this to my Amazon store. The link to my Amazon store, I think it's just amazon.com/shop/the comfy nest, but you don't even have to do all that. You could type in Google like Amazon store, the comfy nest. It'll come up, or I did put the link in the description here for you guys. Okay. But I will put this in the store so you guys can find it easily. All right. So you're welcome for sharing. Stephanie says, I need this eraser. Thank you for sharing. Who did I say mentioned it? Was it Judy? Who mentioned it? I can't remember. I'm so sorry. But the person who mentioned it reminded me, I've had this sitting on my little counter here for a long time. Like, I don't know, maybe even a year, and I've never used it. Okay, let's get our 3 little hearts on. I'm gonna just do, whoa! I dropped a paint bottle on the floor. It's closed, so I'm not worried about it. Okay, I'm going to center these off to the opposite side, and I'm gonna do 3 of these hearts, and the first one I'm gonna center on the stripes, and then the other 2 I'm just gonna center accordingly up and down. So I have a little pencil mark on here from my working with it earlier, and it's kind of bugging me. I'm using that same eraser to erase off that pencil mark. Okay, so I'm gonna go about 1.5 inches from where the frame will be, and I'm just, the only thing I'm worried about is my centering. You could take a ruler, because I got 3 of them to do, and I have about, well, it's 12 inches total to work with, so this 6 is my midpoint, so I could lift this heart up just a little bit, and that really is my midpoint. See how I did that? I know that this is a 12-inch span, 6 is the middle, so the middle of my heart should be at about the 6-inch spot. I'm not going to get too worked up about perfectly centering. I just don't get too worked up about it, you guys. I don't get worked up over that stuff. The less you get worked up about it and that's your style, the more freedom you have to just create and be artistic and not worry about all those lines and being linear. These have little skinny sections on them, and it's really close to this arrow right here. So I'm gonna kind of stipple it in, and I'm still using that honeysuckle pink. I love this idea. Again, I'm so sorry. I can't remember the person who suggested it, but 3 hearts in a row. Oh my gosh, I'm loving that little heart. I'm loving it. It is so cute. Okay, so I've got my 1. Now, the 3-inch mark, right? would be halfway point between there and there, and the 9-inch, but they would be a little tight if I went right on the 3 and right on the 9. Look at what I did. I dropped that in my tin foil. I better move the tin foil. And I need to clean up that blob of paint that I got on the end here because I don't need to get it everywhere. Okay. I moved my tin foil over because now I need to place this. And if I went at about the 3 and then I went at about the 9, they would all be uniformly spaced, okay? I'm centering the heart, the center of the heart at the 3-inch mark. This one's at the 6-inch mark. I'll do this at the 9-inch mark, and then they, you know, technically, right? Technically speaking, they should be about evenly placed. And actually, I don't know if any of you quilt, but these rulers are fabulous because they have lines going both ways. So I can use the lines that go this direction, and there's lots of them, against the line, and this is how you quilt, against the line of my board. And if I make sure that along the whole strip that it's lined up on the same line, the edge of my board, then I'll know I'm straight and I'll know that I have equal distance. How do you like them apples? So I'm gonna push, I pushed my stencil against the ruler. I have, it's really hard for you to see. Maybe I can, if you are a quilter, you already know this. If you don't quilt, you wouldn't know how handy these rulers are. But you see all those gazillion lines all over your ruler? If I line up the edge of my board, which is white, it's really easy to see, on the same line, the whole length of this ruler, it gives me a straight line all the way, and I can put my stencil right up against this and be sure that I'm straight. I know that I'm straight because everything is squared off. You know what? Actually, now that I think of it, this could also be, my dad was a carpenter and a floor layer, and he had all kinds of tools for measuring things like this. I only know this because these are my quilting rulers. And when I took quilting classes, I was kind of taught how to use those rulers. I would never have figured that out on my own. I'm not smart enough. But the lady who taught me quilting, she was really smart, and she taught me that. So I give you that little tip. These rulers, they kind of can be a little pricey, but I use them all the time, even on painting. Yes, on fabric projects, but even on painting projects, I use them all the time for like lining things up and measuring things for alignment's sake. And again, I'm not worried about, like, I'm not trying to be perfect. I just want it to be, you know, pretty even. All right, that one's on. I'm gonna leave my ruler where it is. I'm gonna move my stencil here up to the 9-inch mark. I'm not hugely worried about like perfectly aligning with the 9-inch, just the center of my heart at about the center of the 9. And then if I leave my ruler where it is, they should all be aligned. I'm pushing the stencil up against the ruler, so that should all be aligned. I hope that was helpful to somebody. I don't know. Some of you probably already know this stuff, but some of you who are new at crafting might not know that those rulers come in handy a lot. I still have a ton of paint on this little brush. You wouldn't believe it. All right, I think I'm done. I'm gonna put my ruler aside. I'm gonna put my dirty stencil aside. Oh my gosh, I love the 3 hearts in the up and down. Liz says, that is so adorable. Brittany says, great idea. I'm so glad. I have one of those rulers, but never thought to use it for that. I use them all the time. Like, and they come in different sizes. This one is awesome because it has not only the lines, it's backwards, but it also has on it, I gotta find something solid to put behind it because you can't really see my handy dandy backing. It also has this, oh, you can't see it now because they're black. It also has the square. So each square here is a 1-inch square. So that can be very helpful. These rulers are awesome. Very awesome. Like I said, they can be a little pricey, but they're awesome. All right, let me hold this up so you can see the thing in its entirety. I am not going to, I was planning on it, but I'm not going to do it. I want to pull some winners and call it quits for the night. I got to get up early to be at the airport at 4 a.m. Let me hold this up so you can see it. I'm not even going to tack it down before I leave, but I will glue, and then I will tack from the back with nail brads this frame onto the board. But here's what it's going to look like. Look at the 3 hearts, how they turned out. Look at how cute they are. That's part of the add-on for the Stencil of the Month Club. If you have not joined yet, the Stencil of the Month Club, if you do join, you can get $5 off your first month at stencilofthemonthclub.com. Use my code, the Comfy Nest, and you'll get $5 off your first month. Let's take a look at this in its entirety. I'm trying to back up as much as I can because it's 12 by 24 inches. I love the hearts. I loved it plain, but I love the hearts, and I love that they're just going down the edge there. And that was my favorite heart from that set, that scrappy looking little, it looks like somebody scribbled it, and I love it. We should probably cuddle. And then my background, I really wanted it to be, you can see how it's like softer and like, it almost looks like distressed, it reminds me of distressed jeans, just kind of a distressed paint job. I love this, you guys. And then the honeysuckle is on the top, but then the sides of this are blue. The sides of my frame are blue. And I think what I'll do is paint, somebody asked me how thick my board was. Here's my frame, here's my board, and I probably will paint these edges blue to match the frame before I tack it all together. That way the whole edge of the frame is like, the whole project is blue on the edges. What do you think? What do you think? I don't like that it's not done in its entirety, and it won't be done before I leave tomorrow. I just won't have time. But when I do get it done, you guys, Essential Stencil always asks us to send a picture of our finished project so that when they refer people to the live demonstration, it'll become a video recording that you can look back on whenever you want to. They like to share the picture of the completed project so that when they share the video, they can say, this is what she created. So I'm so glad you guys love it. I'm so glad. I hope it inspires you to do a little bit of stenciling and just having fun. Have fun with your projects. Don't get overly worked up about bleed through or perfectly straight lines. It's all good. It's all good. I'm so glad. Terry says adorable. And Trisha's absolutely beautiful. Thank you. All right, let me pull 3 names. I gotta get my pad of paper and a pen. Let me do that. Here's my pen. I'm going to pull 3 names. So 3 winners. I'm going to pull from the comments, 3 winners. Thank you for hanging out with me this whole time. I really do appreciate your company. I appreciate like throwing out ideas and getting your ideas. It was someone's idea. I can't remember who, but thank you to whoever suggested the 3 hearts going down the side of that. I really love it. So love sharing ideas with you guys. Dana says, la la, love it. That's very cute. Crystal, I'm glad I inspire you. Just go have fun with your stuff. Go have fun. Thank you, Kathy, for the safe travel. And Donna, thank you. And Diane, you guys are so awesome. Okay, let me scroll through. I'm going to pick some random winners here. Oh, geez. I have to go. There are a lot of comments, you guys. And thank you for sharing. If you got any value from this and you have crafty friends who might get value from this, please share the video either in a group, a crafty group that you belong to, or to a particular friend in a message or on your own personal profile or wall. That is so helpful to me. It just like really just introduces me, the Comfy Nest, and Essential Stencil to more people, and we really do appreciate it. Okay, first winner is Geraldine Myers. Geraldine, it's Jerlyn Myers, and Geraldine, the comment that won you, I would offset them. That's the comment that just won you a stencil set. And what I need you to do, for those of you who are winners, you need to email Essential Stencil at support@essentialstencil.com, and they will send you email them your mailing address and email address, and they will send them to you. Okay, next winner is Kathy Weigel. And Kathy, the comment that won you a stencil was, looks great. Okay, I'm still scrolling. I'm scrolling. There are so many comments. Our next winner is Patsy Williams White. I gotta write them down. Now what will happen is I will message Essential Stencil with these 3 names, and when these 3 people whose names match up with the names that I gave to Essential Stencil, when they email them with your mailing address and email address at support@essentialstencil.com, they will send you a set of stencils. Okay, so Geraldine Myers, Kathy Weigel, and Patsy Williams-White, you all just won a set of stencils. Congratulations. And thanks for being part of tonight's demonstration. You guys, thank you for sprinkling. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for being part. Thanks for visiting the Comfy Nest. I'm very honored to have your company. Have a beautiful, blessed night. And I will catch up with you guys when I get back from Arizona.